Dan? Yes.
Sorry, 4.
Elliot?
Against.
Finan?
Against.
Foreman?
Against.
Galton?
Against.
Graves?
4.
James?
Vote against.
King?
4.
Knight?
Against.
Knowles?
Against.
Mahal?
4.
Moda?
4.
None?
4.
Page?
4.
Scott?
4.
Taylor?
Against.
Wellband?
4.
Woodowis?
Against.
Chairman, if I may, it's 14 votes in favour of the amendment and 12 votes against the amendment. So the amendment's carried and becomes part of the substantive motion.
Thank you.
So, we finished the debate on the substantive motion. So any members that haven't already spoken on the substantive motion want to do so.
Yeah. Do we have any members who want to speak on the substantive motion now, at this point now? We have Councillor Bremner, Councillor Ash, Councillor Bremner.
Just very briefly, the neighbourhood forum's got over 2,000 signatures. Just for members' information, they're all verified as electors of the unparished area. There's nobody that was included from outside the area. But all I'll say is, this was an opportunity now for Market Harbour to have the representation that they want. And I do that for the rest of Market Harbour. Let's see what Market Harbour says. Let's see what outside media catch this information and how they spread it in the Harbour Mail or the HFM. Let's see what the Youth Town Council think of it. Let's see what perhaps members of the Youth Town Council who've grown up a bit, have not left the area, would like to be at possibles in the future, possible town council. It's dependent on these consultations and the referendum, whether it actually happens in a final decision of this council. So we legally have to do it, so let's bring it on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bremner. Councillor Joe Asher, please.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I just wanted to say again how grateful we are to the town hubs for the work that they put in to bring this back. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to have this discussion again, which would be a crying shame. And what was mentioned in that first discussion was the cost and the timeline. And we're sitting here again tonight and we're spending £50,000 on a referendum when we know that 10% of the electorate definitely want a town council. The social media posts indicate that they want a town council. The history of other areas that have gone into these big councils have had a town council. And we sit here again with things coming up that look like they could potentially delay us again. But we are where we are. Obviously, the vote has gone through. And if this doesn't come off, or if people, don't want it, then so be it. But that is not the impression that I'm getting. I tried to say this at the last meeting. I tried to reiterate how important this was. And the vote obviously didn't go the way of getting the town council. And here we are again spending £50,000 now on a referendum, rightly or wrongly. But, it's shocking that money was mentioned before and time was mentioned before. And those very things are now being put in jeopardy. But there we go. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Asher. Yeah, I'll let you respond, Councillor Bremner, certainly.
One thing I forgot to say for the possible town council coming forward. Assets will be transferred from this council, green spaces, parks. But what about the HIC, Harbour Innovation Centre? What about the Growing Centre? That's within the footprint of Market Harbour, I think. So that might be something that any future members of Town Council might want to consider.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Bremner, and that's getting into a bit of the detail, but I take your point. Actually, I've got a list, I've got Councillor Woodyward here, is that correct, or you? You don't have
Thank you,
to.
Chair. That was so long ago, I almost forgot I put my hand up now. So, yeah, I was going to say I was actually delighted to see this back with us today because obviously we're all advocated for it before. I worked with the neighbourhood forums to try and get the petition signed as we could. And we have a number of them here who need to take the credit for the hard work they've put into it. We now have more hard work to do to educate our community, which is not a bad thing. Obviously, we need to sell the benefits of this as well as the extra costs. So I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who's put the time in so far, and thank you to everyone who signed the petition.
No, because it's councillor Woodward.
Thank you very much for that, Councillor Woodyward, appreciate it. Thank you. So, oh, yeah, I've got Councillor Mrs Page here, yeah. Is it really, yeah? Okay, Councillor Mrs Page, go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. I don't think, in my humble opinion, it is about wasting money. Do you know how many millions this council got in reserve? So £50,000 for democracy, it is a good way to spend some money. Because I believe the people of Harbour have got or should be asked. They have the choice to vote yes or no, to come out and vote or not to vote. I was part of a consultation process of the NHS where every house in Lutterworth, sorry again, was had a letter. The consultation did give information. The consultation also asked for a yes or no. Do you want to keep the cottage hospital? So, and it was something that was really, really appreciated. So I think, in my humble opinion, I do not have to pay the precept or whatever. I'm not a Market Harbour resident, but I'm here and I believe in democracy. And this is democracy. Now, what I would like to see going forward, because it's not as simple to set up a town council. So at the next stages, I would like to very much see how the process is going to work. Who is going to employ? Who is going to do the standing orders? Who is going to write the policy? Now, Leah said this will be done by the council in the interim, after the elections or whatever. But then the council officers are going to do all of the work. So the research charges, who's going to pay for the research charges and whatever else. And I think this is some work, the actual cost, not just 50,000 and 50,000 to set it up. I think the actual cost needs to be in the consultation so everybody knows what's going on. And I think this is a win-win for democracy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mrs Page. Now, I'm just going to, Councillor King, I think, is hand up. I'll just take Councillor King and then Councillor Knowles.
Chair, I didn't really have much to say.
You can sit down if you like.
No, thanks, Chair. So that's just,
But I'll let you carry on.
yeah, thanks very much. Ho, ho, ho. I think the chair was being the Grinch there. Anyway, Chair, thanks very much. What I was going to say before you put me off there, but that did give me 30 seconds to collect my thoughts. So first of all, I agree very much with what Councillor Mrs Page said. I also agree with what Councillor Dr Bremner said as well. I think whilst I do understand, as I said earlier, I've never been against a town council. I certainly haven't been against people seeking the views of residents and what they think, because at the end of the day, as I said earlier, they're the ones who are going to be footing the bill for whatever community or parish council comes into being. And it's not an insignificant amount of money, so that's going to, depending on what responsibilities and what assets and everything else get transferred over. So there is a lot of devil in the detail, which I do not propose to go into now. You'll be very pleased to know But I do think, you know, it is the right thing to do to ask residents. And yes, I'm very conscious of what the neighbourhood forums have done. And I'm very pleased that I set those up when I was leader of the council in conjunction with other people. Well, it was a fact that it was on our watch that we set those up. So that's back in 2019. So I think the important thing is that people will have a chance to decide whether they want it or not, rather than, as I said earlier, just a group of activists selling a particular line, and then, you know, yes, getting people to sign a petition is very good, but actually that's not everyone, and that's not everyone will have seen it or be aware of it or have seen the information. So I think it's really important that everyone has their opportunity, not just the select few.
Thank you, Councillor King. Councillor Knowles. Must give Councillor Knowles an opportunity now.
Thank you, Chairman. I just have one or two comments to make, really. I mean, first and foremost, I think this we do owe a great debt to the neighbourhood forums who've actually gone out and worked so hard and got these signatures. That's a testimony for democracy and how it worked. We had the opportunity a few weeks ago to put this through for whatever reason. It wasn't put through. I don't think we need to go back in history on that one. The facts were there and it just didn't happen. But where we are now, we're at a position where I think it's quite refreshing that whether you're in favour of the referendum or you're against the referendum, the one thing we're all in favour of is engaging publicly on this and moving it forward so that our residents, our communities can have their say on this. We have a real challenge ahead with regards to where we're going to end up with local government. There are some in this chamber who I know support North City South, others that support or the county are pushing, and the one thing we're all in agreement of is that we shouldn't see the boundaries of Leicester City extended. And I think that's an absolute statement of fact. And now we're all very clear that we want to see the mechanism engaged that will start the process of a town council for Market Harborough. There are aspects to it that are going to need to be evaluated. I think it was Councillor Wellband, and I apologise if I'm wrong, that touched on Little Bowden being, was it not you? Certainly it was Martin Councillor. Somebody mentioned it earlier on this evening, or it was Leah, sorry. It was our monitoring officer that said it. You know, Little Bowden in itself is something that I'm sure that the councillors from Little Bowden will be having discussions with residents in Little Bowden and encouraging them to engage and give us their views on what they see. Do they want to be part of a town council of Market Harborough? Do they see this as an opportunity to have a parish council for Little Bowden itself? Another question that's got to be asked and answered. But I think the important thing is that we are now completely united in engaging and moving this forward for the benefit of the public. It's a pity we didn't do it a few weeks ago. We're doing it now. And I would say, Chairman, let's get on with the job. Let's get it done.
Right. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Leader. Yeah, it's a good way of summing it up. And I mean, it is, we all know it. This is quite a historic moment, really, because from my experience in this council, we've talked about this for about 25 years, and we're at a critical point now, really. So we should move to the vote, and the recorded vote, I think, is probably one thing. Haven't been asked for. Okay. And we are voting on the three issues here in front of us on the screen. On that? The one, then. Be clear?
Just check that you've got nothing else we need to cover off.
Sure.
Just so we know. Yeah. Can we just bring a bit of recommendations? I still need to remember for A and B, but A is subject to 1 and 2.
Yeah.
A and C.
Yeah, I think it'd be useful. We do need another, we've got to be absolutely spot on here. So we need another clarification, say, from Leah.
Thank you, councillors. I please just bear with me one final element on this report. We do still need your agreement to the terms of reference for the review and for the advisory committee, subject to the amendments 1 and 2 that are on your screen. So if we could still please take a vote on that, it's basically approve the terms of reference for the review, recognising we need to move the timeline, and the community review group advisory committee, subject to changing the membership as stated on the screen. So if we can take a vote on that.
Okay, everyone got that? So we'll take a vote on that.
Chair, brief point of order, if I may. The word, it's gone now. I was going to say, I think the word substantive at the top of the screen was incorrect. Those were amendments. So I'm pleased to see it gone. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Graves. Okay, so we'll take a vote. We're going to do a show of hands, presumably. Okay. So those in favour? Those in favour, show of hands, please. Is it?
Yes.
After all that, that's good. Okay, thank you all very much for that then. Okay, we've got a direction now. We know what we're doing, and there's a lot of work to do there, but it is a historic decision. Thank you all very much. And now we can move on to item 8, which is a report on the council tax base. And it's simply a report on that. It's a starting position for doing the work and setting the council tax. And the council tax base is a factual thing with regard to the number of properties we're dealing with, I think. So if we can have, I understand that Councillor Knight here is going to introduce this report. So if you'd like to do that, Councillor Knight, that will be good.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Yes, as you set out, this is to set the council tax base for the council tax in 26-27 in association with fixing the council tax base to recommend to council the non-collection allowance in percent terms to be made in 26-27. And the recommendations are that the calculation of the tax base for the year 26-27 be approved in accordance with local authorities regulations 2012. The amount calculated by Harbour District Council as its council tax base for the year 26-27 shall be 40,169.6, and the council tax base for individual town, parish and special expenses areas for 26-27 be calculated in accordance with the same principles as the council's overall council tax base as detailed in Appendix A.
Thank you, Councillor Knight. Do we have any questions on this report? Yeah, Councillor Graves, sorry, I've got.
Yeah, it was just a reasonably obvious question coming out of paragraph 3.1 regarding the past 5 years collection rate and 3.10. And in 3.11, it's recommending that instead of the historic 2% non-collection for a few years, it should be, or 1.5 last year, it should go back to 1%. I just wanted the portfolio holders' views really on this. If you look at the pattern in 3.10, there's a highly consistent recovery of 2% in the 4 top years. Is the portfolio holder confident that that will pop up to 99% for the year that he is budgeting for? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Graves. Can you help us there? Councillor Knight, please.
As far as I'm aware, I'm sure the Section 151 officer will clarify this as well, that the amounts were changed due to COVID, am I correct in that? And that it is now reverting back to the 1%, I believe. If the Section 151 officer would like to come in on any clarification on that, I'd be happy.
Through you, Chair. Yeah, I can confirm that, sorry, first time I stood up with council. Yeah, I'll confirm this is reverted back to the collection rate prior to COVID. All statistics are showing that our recovery rates are increasing year on year. So I'm as confident as I can be that 1% is a fair recoverable amount. Okay.
Right. Any more questions on this report? Councillor King?
Thank you, Chairman. Well, just following on from what's just been said, I don't think I agree with that. It actually shows, I think Councillor Grace makes a very good point. What that shows, I mean, COVID was 2020, 2021, and obviously there was an issue then, but I mean, it's been fairly consistent, just over 98%. So if we don't recover this extra 1% in council tax, what does that mean for the council's finances? And what because it's not just our council tax, it's the county council, the fire, the police, parish councils. What does that then mean for us? And does it mean that the council's going to have to take more aggressive recovery action against debtors, many of whom can ill afford to pay because of they're generally on low incomes or benefit claimants? So I'm just wondering, Chairman, what this actually means if this was the case that we weren't able to achieve this 99% target. Now we're now being told is what I assume the cabinet set at their budget principles meeting on the 1st of December, a couple of weeks ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor King. I don't know whether you think you're okay with that, Councillor Knight, or if you require some support from our director.
Yeah, I believe that section 151 officer had clarified this, but I would refer to para 3.11. Prior to the coronavirus pandemic, the council maintained a 1% allowance for irrecoverable debt. And as a consequence of the pandemic, 21-22 and 22-23, the council increased its irrecoverable rate from 1% to 2%, falling to 1.5% in 25-26. And now it's been proposed that its irrecoverable rate returns to 1% for 26-27. Happy to take any further clarification of that from the section 151 officer.
Thank you. Any more questions? And I do need so if there's no more questions, I do need a seconder for this report. And Councillor Knowles is going to second. Thank you. If there are no more questions, we will move to a vote. Okay. So we have the report there. All those in favour, show of hands, please. Thank you very much. So we now move to item 9, which is the recommendation of the Independence Remuneration Panel on councillors' expenses. Councillor Knowles, you just want to say something on this, yeah?
Yeah, I do, Chairman. Actually, this report is quite extensive. I was approached by Councillor Wellband with some suggestions as to how this might be carried forward in a better way. I'm very happy with what Councillor Wellband has proposed, so I'm going to actually ask Councillor Wellband if he'd like to speak and to formally move what we discussed.
Yeah, and I invite you to speak on this.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, the suggestion is here to change the IT allowance part of this instead of doing something which is very faffy and submitting receipts or invoices every month, just to basically roll it in to the basic allowance and sorry, broadband. Correct, broadband. Which was £15 a month, just to roll it into the basic allowance. It makes it a lot easier. Everyone has broadband, so I think it makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, so that is an amendment, Councillor. Yes, to add it into the Councillor.
We could simplify this.
Can we?
So if Councillor Knowles is accepting of that. Yeah. Yeah, but if you're supportive of it, we could take that as being the motion as tabled, and then we don't need to go through the amendment process.
Wonderful. Shall we do that then? Are we all okay with that? So we're going to move to the vote on this then, unless anyone else wants to make a comment. Councillor Mr. Page.
Just a quick one. We're talking about rolling the broadband allowance in. Sounds good, but what we're actually talking about, that we are increasing our standard regular allowance by 200%. Job done, full stop.
Yes. Yes, Councillor Mrs. Page. Can we move to the vote, Councillor Mrs. Page? Thank you. Yeah, I think we're clear, aren't we now? We're going to move to the vote on this then, yeah? All in favour? Oh, did you already clarify it?
If you wanted me to.
No, probably not. I don't think so. So, yeah, we're going to take Councillor Wellband's amendment, right, to the original report. We're going to vote on that, yeah? All in favour of Councillor Wellband's suggestion? Thank you, and not Councillor Mrs. Page's suggestion. Thank you very much. Are we clear there? We're clear. Good. Okay. So we now move to item 10, which is the process for conferring honorary statuses. That's an interesting one. Do you want to make a comment on that, Councillor Knowles, before we start?
Yes, please, Chairman. I
Thank you.
think I'm going to simplify this again, if I may. This all came about when Councillor Bannister raised this as a point of consideration for the council and put forward some suggestions and the reasons why. Whereas normally as leader, I would move this. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ask Councillor Bannister, as I say, who initiated this, if he would like to, I'm doing this through you, Chairman, speak and formally move this, because I think it's only the fairest way of doing it, in as much as Councillor Bannister was the person who actually instigated this.
Thank you very much. Councillor Bannister, would you like to introduce this, please?
Well, thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Leader. It's very kind of you and generous to allow me to introduce the report and propose that we accept the recommendations of the report. We do know that this council and indeed the community here in the District of Harborough has been well served, and we've been somewhat blessed from time to time by those few councillors that really have gone above and beyond the standard duties of a councillor. And we've not really had any sort of formal process of thanking them for their duties when they retire. And that is an anomaly, because every other district and borough council in Leicestershire does have such a process, and Leicestershire County Council also has such a process, and that is the nomination of those exceptional councillors to become aldermen or alderwomen of the borough or of the district. And when I raised this matter earlier in the year, I just really felt that we should repair that anomaly and give due recognition to those exceptional councillors that have served the District of Harborough and the community that they had done so. The processes are set out in the report. The criteria for meeting the nominating process are all set out in the report. I want to thank the officers for the work that they've done in preparing the report, and thank the leader for his support in relation to the proposal that we are now, hopefully, if this council agrees, going to be in a position where we can give formal thanks to those retired, exceptional councillors that have served our community so well by conferring that status as honorary alderman and honorary alderwoman. So I wish to move the recommendations, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bannister. That's a good way of understanding. We need a seconder for Councillor Bannister, please. Councillor Scott. Okay, we have councillor Bannister, councillor Scott, and we'll now vote with the. Any members want to say anything? Anything else? No? Thank you. Okay, so we'll move to the vote then, to support the report here. All in favour? Decision. Thank you, councillor Bannister. And we've finished, I think. Of course. Yeah, okay, so thank you very much. Well, we've had a good session really, and we're within a reasonable time. Thank you very much for that tonight. Thank you for everything we've done, taken some historic decisions. So I just really want to say, oh, I've got something else to say here. Yeah. Any urgent business? Right. Well, okay. Well, no, mine's just the urgent business now. So I just want to say thank you very much for this evening. This is the last time we're going to, all of us together, are going to meet before Christmas, isn't it? So I want to wish everyone here, with you and your families, a very happy Christmas. And if you really want to start the festivities off, you can come to my civic service tomorrow night. There's still a few places if you hurry. But thank you very much and have a really enjoyable Christmas and New Year. Thank you. Oh.